Hello, welcome to this video for Asia. So let's discuss what will happen with the weather in Asia. So first the tropics here, and then the winter weather part. So if you're watching from like Northern Asia and Eastern Asia, skip ahead to the winter weather chapter. The timestamps is the description below. So let's start here with the tropics. So we have those very heavy downpours in parts of Indonesia, still happening now. Some parts of southern Malaysia, and even the Philippines. We had tropical cyclone Fengal that made landfall in India. It left more than 500 millimeters in some places just south of Chennai. So. We saw a bunch of flooding there and everything. Hope everyone is okay. And as this overperformed in some ways, some models like the Icon did have like 600 millimeters, but all the other models like the European and the GFS had less than 500 millimeters. So it's always good to always be aware and monitor the situation live. So let's see here what might happen, because the models are still showing a bunch of heavy rain throughout Indonesia, Malaysia, and even some other areas in the next 5 days. So there are these tropical downpours here throughout Indonesia and those areas, and even northern Australia there in those areas. So this goal still shows like Sumatra, Malaysia, and Java. This goes more heavy downpours all throughout this week. It can happen during the whole day, especially the afternoon, but any time of the day, even at night, because it's like early morning there now, and there's still many downpours. So be careful and be aware like of lightning and gusty winds within those storms, because they can pop up anywhere and happen at any time and leave that very heavy rain. So just be on alert there and be aware. This isn't like so crazy. You shouldn't be scared, but just be prepared, because when those very heavy storms come, it's a good thing to be careful. And let's see, Wednesday, Thursday until Friday, some more downpours. Then into next week, like not this week, starting out the other week, still shows some more downpours there. So be careful. The rain accumulation from some different models shows some very heavy rain continuing. So let's see the European just until Tuesday shows alright like 100 millimeters. The northern Philippines like 168 to almost 200 in some areas. So be careful there with that, those downpours there. And this goes and shows all the way to Ogasawara in Japan. So be careful those islands too, and shows like those tropical downpours throughout Indonesia, uh, Western Guinea, Papua New Guinea, more throughout Malaysia, some areas, southernmost Thailand, and like the coasts of Vietnam, especially southern Vietnam and northern Australia. So be careful, but some spots of Indonesia are showed like close to 95 millimeters until Tuesday. Only until Tuesday shows the remnants of Fengal, close to 129 millimeters in India, 100 150, 179. So be careful with flooding there too. Like 175, so still some heavier downpours, maybe some flooding dangers. Shows more in eastern India, some showers and storms. Be careful with some heavier storms. And now this is until Tuesday. Until Friday, the array increases a lot, especially in southern Indonesia, some spots of Java. So shows all the way to 230 millimeters. In central parts of the island of Java, 229, 216. Southern Sumatra along the coast there shows more as well, and like most of Malaysia, 117. And other parts are a little bit less, like 30 millimeters, but Brunei shows like some 44 millimeters, Central Malaysia some 68, and Indonesia in Kalimantan like 114, further south 124. So be aware. And across like Northern Malaysia, some 120 millimeters right near the coast there. Some other heavier downpours further north. Shows a little bit less further south, some 28 millimeters in Singapore, but there might still be those heavier downpours. Some areas of Malaysia and southern Thailand, southernmost Thailand there. So be careful. Northern Sumatra shows more than 100 millimeters, and more there throughout like southern Sumatra near Java and those areas close to 100, even like 167 millimeters. So be careful there. And until Friday, the European model is like close to 400 millimeters, the northern Philippines. So if this happens, it would cause flooding there. So be careful throughout this week there. And shows more than 200, 100, some odd areas, and some more passing thunderstorms further south. So be careful those two. And also shows Vietnam until Friday more than 164 millimeters, 94, 129, and like 52, 47, 48. So be aware. So a storm or two in Cambodia, but mainly some showers, and into central Laos there, and eastern Laos shows some from Vietnam. So be careful. In India, that doesn't change much. Some more showers in Sri Lanka, but be aware those areas. Now the GFS is a very interesting scenario. It's also in the northern Philippines, close to like 200, even 370 millimeters in some areas. So be careful with flooding there in the northern Philippines. Be careful, shows more showers and storms central, southern Philippines. And Indonesia shows those very like heavy tropical downpours, central, southern Indonesia, especially some central areas, Kalimantan, into like Malaysia. So be aware, but in Java, there's also like Western Java, close to 258, like even like Panaitan Island, more than 360 millimeters, and like 311, far western Java, 293. So be careful there with those downpours. Stay safe. And if you put this even further out, shows like way more the next 10 days, more Malaysia, like Indonesia, especially there in Java and southwestern Indonesia. But that's a lot of time. So be careful in those areas. Now the excess has like uh, also a lot in those areas until Friday. Doesn't have as much as the European, the GFS. It does have more than 180 westernmost Java. Some heavier downpours through parts of southern Sumatra. Also into like in Borneo, some 139 more throughout Kalimantan, Indonesia. So be careful. Shows in central Western Guinea more than 200, but into Papua New Guinea those heavier downpours. So be careful in those areas, and a lot of like northern Australia and some areas those showers and storms. So be aware. Show like 37 millimeters in West Thailand, and shows like 174 in the southernmost Maldives in the Indian Ocean. So be careful there. The icon has like until Friday those heavier downpours all for like southern Indonesia, northern Australia, but especially like central southern Indonesia and northern Philippines. The icon is also like 200 to like 239 in the northern Philippines, and still in India there shows like that 202 to 213 more throughout southern India. So be careful with flooding, some more downpours, those areas. In like Seabreeze Village, it shows a gap like 4 millimeters, but just to the north and to the south of it shows a lot. In the Seychelles, we talked about in the Africa video, shows more than 149 by the icon, but the European shows less. And be aware those areas. And if I put the European until December 10th, it does show more there from most of Indonesia, northern Australia, and like Guinea there in those areas. But that's a lot of time. So yeah, and be aware in those areas. The Indian Ocean, I discussed in the Africa video that there might be those tropical storms in the southern Indian Ocean. So the GFS does form one near the southwest Indian Ocean near the Cocos Island, December 9th. This goes, but later does bring this near the southwestern the Indian Ocean. But an earlier run of this was from like the 0 Z today, It was forming a little bit earlier. That cyclone arrived by December 8th in the southern Indian Ocean, got all the way to like Reunion, close to Reunion, and went into Madagascar. So this was the 0Z GFS from today. It had a completely different situation. And like the 0Z GFS until like Friday, yeah, it had a similar thing, but let's like total accumulate precipitation. So this is until like next Sunday. So the 0Z GGFS until Saturday, it had more accumulation like Western Java and those areas close to 300 millimeters there. So those yellows like 300, close to 400. So that will be like a more concerning situation. And also the situation shows now close like 100, 200 millimeters. And also shows like near northeastern Malaysia and Thailand more than 100 or close to 200 millimeters, and in southern part of the island of Borneo there. So be careful. But now let's see the European for the run here. So it does show the cyclone in India brings more heavy rain there, goes into the Arabian Sea and kind of dissipates. But it does have that cyclone trying to get going the southern Indian Ocean, the 6C and the 0C headed there, goes there, and it gets all the way close to Madagascar, but very weak by that point. And it does try to form up stuff near Australia, but that doesn't really get it. It shows just some more surges of moisture there. And the Canadian has like the system in India near the Arabian Sea and dissipates, but it does form the tropical storm, the southern Indian Ocean, December 10th, and it gets close to Madagascar. And the Canadian is showing a stronger storm there near northern Madagascar, unlike some of the other models. And the Canadian is trying to get going something near Australia there, but it shows very weak still, December 9th or something. There's the icon too, shows the heavy rain there. It goes and it has a surge of moisture close to tropical storm strength, December 8th near Western Australia, and it does have some potential storms near the southern Indian Ocean too by like December 9th. So we have to monitor that very closely. But be careful in those areas, especially with those heavy downpours. Stay safe there. Let's just see something for curiosity. So there's like the ensembles from the European model, and does show here like the Indian Ocean. So let's put like 150 hours out. So this until the December 7th, it does show some members near Australia, like close to tropical storm strength in the southeastern Indian Ocean. It does have some random members South China Sea as well, that heavy rain near Malaysia. But most members like the central southern Indian Ocean, they're forming something. And to 240 hours, it does have like more members by December 12th or something, so December 11th. It does have many members scraping Western Australia, like tropical storm strength, and it does have the majority of members like just north of Mauritius, close to Madagascar. It does have like only 3 members showing something in Comoros, but that's just like 3 members out of 40, so be aware. It does show some random ones in the Bay of Bengal again, and even some members near the Philippines. Although the season is over there, it does show some stuff in the South China Sea too. So yeah, we'll monitor this very closely, but for now, still nothing crazy in terms of tropical cyclones. But after December 8th, we need to monitor Australia and the southwestern Indian Ocean. So now for the winter weather in Asia, let's see. We have that low pressure in northern China with some snow and some gusty winds. It'll bring more snow to like northern China in the next 12 hours and more into Russia, especially Russia, like Monday the 2nd. So it does show some more snow southern Russia there and near like a finger to northern Japan with some showers in Japan. And later, after that, the GFS has like Some more snow in Japan Wednesday, some parts of Japan there, especially in the mountains. Friday the 6th still has snow in Japan, and it has like some more whispers of snow like further west into Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan and those areas. Even China is like December 9th, some snow in Tibet, a part or two of central southern China, and more stuff in Japan later by like December 15th or something. But that's far out. And now, right now, we do have some snow near Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan. And yeah, now the European model, because this was the GFS, it shows that system in China and Russia there, especially the heavier snow in Russia, and a thing or two northern Japan, but later does show more snow on the second and third northern Japan, especially on Wednesday, central northern Japan, more snow in the mountains. On Thursday, the 5th, and Friday, show some heavier snow into central Japan on Thursday too. So be aware. Some whispers of snow in Mongolia, Russia, and China between Wednesday and Thursday, and like even to eastern China there, and some parts of the Himalayas. So, and later does show some more snow near Tajikistan and Afghanistan, Kyrgyzstan, like December 7th and 8th. But right now, we do have some near Kazakhstan and those areas. So, let's see here some of the accumulation for like Russia and those areas. So until late Tuesday, the European has some snow northern China and some areas. Let's see if this loads here. As some northernmost China into southern Russia, some 13 centimeters, 10 to 22 centimeters, especially with further north to Russia, some 43 centimeters. More there, like throughout eastern portions of Russia and the peninsula there. Some more like 38, 30 centimeters until Tuesday. Shows some whispers of snow in some parts of China until Tuesday, but especially in the point or two of Nepal, in the Himalayas, and like northernmost India, and especially like northernmost Pakistan and Tibet, northern Afghanistan, the mountains. And it doesn't show much in Kyrgyzstan, just southern Tajikistan, and especially northern China and Kazakhstan, northeastern Kazakhstan into Russia. Just on the next 2 days, shows more snow like this portion of central Russia and southeastern Russia there, where I showed you. So be aware, just like portions of central Russia, parts of the Arctic too. There are some towns there, and a little bit of snow. So be aware. But this until Tuesday. Now, if I put until Friday, it shows that heavier snow central northern Japan. So the European model has on the mountain like 61 centimeters, like 37 centimeters further south, 40 centimeters. So be careful with that snow there, especially in the mountains, because it might pose some avalanche danger, some of the mountains, and shows northern Japan, those northern island there, some more snow until Friday, especially for from Wednesday to Friday, the most snow, but northern Japan might get a little bit until Tuesday, shows a little bit there, and even a mountain to southern Japan. So be aware. And until Friday, it increases in Russia a little bit, some 100 centimeters, a tiny bit more in eastern Russia there, those areas. So be careful. And this shows some more in China. And this looks like some lower elevations compared to Tibet, but there are some mountains there too. Some more there, southern Tibet, near like northern Myanmar and southern China, a little bit of snow, and some whispers throughout central western China, more in northern Pakistan and southwestern Tibet. Northern China shows a little bit, and until Friday shows more throughout Russia, that portion of Russia, but extending further into Siberia to like 6 centimeters and 4 centimeters, especially like 31, 29 centimeters. Central Russia, in some parts of southern Russia, near Mongolia, some 45 centimeters, 38, 27. So be careful there. And shows like northern Kazakhstan, some light snow showers, and to western Russia and Europe. We might talk more about this in some European videos, but yeah, be aware. And the GFS now, It has also the snow in Japan until Friday, like 40 centimeters, even close to 58 centimeters. Some mountains all the way to central Japan, especially the mountains, but some parts of the coast might get some as well. And all the way to central Japan there, and northern Japan, more snow, those areas. So be aware, some 49 centimeters in some areas, and the peninsula of Russia there's some like 68 centimeters, 75, 44. So be aware, so like 56 centimeters, eastern Russia, southeastern Russia, North Korea a tiny bit, in South Korea like 0.9 centimeters or something. So be aware. And like southern China, central southern China, some areas there, like some areas of southernmost China and Tibet. And also show like in northernmost Pakistan, Afghanistan, some parts of the high elevations of Tibet, and southern Tajikistan until Friday. You increase in like Tajikistan, those areas after Saturday and Sunday. So until next Tuesday, it doesn't shows more like, because it took a while to update, so it shows more like in Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, a little bit in like Kazakhstan and those areas until December 10th, but just until the 6th doesn't show that much. So be aware. And the GFS is some spots in Russia like close to 68 to even like some 83 centimeters there. So be aware. The icon has also, let's see, because it's a little bit slow today, but if we try this again, I don't think this is updated, but let's see. The icon does show until Friday, somewhere in Japan there, some 18 centimeters. It shows less than the other ones, but does show for central northern Japan and more throughout Russia, especially Russia there. So be aware. And does show the spots in China, also northern, central northern China and to central southern China. So be aware. And now the European for like the temperature. So does show like still those very cold temperatures, especially in Russia, some minus 38 to minus 40 degrees. Siberia, further west, a little bit less, but still some minus 10, minus 11. Most of northern Kazakhstan, negative temperatures. And like those areas, and especially shows right in Iran, some negative temperatures from north and central Iran during the night. Afghanistan, very cold in the mountains of Tajikistan and Tibet. There, next week or the week after, we might make some more specific videos for like Western Asia, but very cold in Turkey and the Caucasus too. Japan shows more northern Japan, so some minus 10, minus 9, some minus 4. So yeah, be aware. Mongolia, right, is some spots close to minus 21, minus 15. Northern China close to minus 29. So let's go along through this. Shows like Monday afternoon, a little bit warmer, maybe southern China and some parts of Southeast Asia, so like 30 to 29. It's kind of warm in India and southernmost China, but this goes like Monday, Tuesday night, Monday morning, like throughout Tuesday morning, shows very cold in Russia, and especially still like eastern Russia on the peninsula, some spots central Japan there, and the mountains, right, like North Korea, some minus 24, Russia and China close to minus 30 degrees, and in Iran there throughout the Caucasus, very cold, most of Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan and those areas. And then this is Tuesday morning, this goes Tuesday afternoon, warms up in the south a little bit, but this goes there. Shows like Wednesday morning, some minus 36 in Siberia, more across eastern Russia, some breaks in the cold throughout central Russia, but still mostly negative temperatures. Then this goes so all the way to minus 34, even southern Russia, most of Mongolia, like some minus 23, minus 16, very cold. Most of northern China, western China, negative temperatures, except southeastern China. And this goes Wednesday, shows it there. next Thursday shows a wave of cold air, slightly colder, so -12 in Russia, northwestern Russia, about like Thursday, and Kazakhstan still very cold, like southern Russia, Siberia more like -20s, expanding to eastern Russia, and Japan, the mountains shows colder there too, so -4, -5, some areas through northern Japan, bear some frost and like the cold wind chills, and this goes for all of Asia there. Like these are an estimation of the actual temperature, but the wind chills are like the feels like temperatures might feel much colder than it's showing here. So be aware there. And this goes Thursday. Friday shows like Friday morning a wave of cold air in northern China, some -26. This goes, and later into Saturday it is showing like some -26 starting central northern Russia, in the Arctic some -30, but as you can see a little bit cold air here and less cold here, so there's this wave of cold air coming from the north. This comes, shows like December 8th, so -36, central northern Russia. This goes Mongolia, still very chilly. The mountains like Tajikistan and Tibet, and northern Japan, those areas. This goes there. And momentarily does show like on December 9th, so -42 to -43 degrees Celsius, like Russia, Siberia, especially before the north, so -42. So be careful, especially the wind chills there. I know you're all used to it there because it's very cold, but be careful. The frostbite, like hypothermia, so be careful. And even further south, Mongolia, China, there's still those dangers because of the cold. Also show like northern Kazakhstan all the way to -22 on the December 9th. This goes there, shows more cold across eastern Russia, and the December 9th, December 10th still very cold there. It's nice to point out like December 11th shows all the way to -46 degrees in Siberia. So very, very cold. Be careful there. And this is just the European model. Uh, the GFS might have some different things, like this site is functioning totally weird today because of the connection, but let's see. Shows more there, those very cold temperatures in Russia, China, like the GFS is some cold air in northern China, and Beijing is around 3 degrees, sometimes like 2 degrees, 0 degrees. So yeah, be aware. And then this goes like Friday, shows very cold in Mongolia too, northern Japan, December 8th, December 9th, and it does have like December 10th in Siberia, -45 degrees Celsius as well. This goes there, and like, yeah, very, very cold. So be aware, most of Central Asia there, very cold. There's another cool way to see this. It's a little bit different, but let's see, because these maps here are only like here in Asia, but they show mostly China and those areas. So let's see. There's like the the temperature anomaly, probably it is from the GFS. So these are like the above average, below average temperature. So they show those below average temperatures now in eastern China, into Russia. This goes there, shows that cold wave going to Russia December 5th, December 6th, into Kazakhstan, parts of Western Asia on December 8th. This goes and shows very below average in Central Western Asia, December 12th, and yeah, and in Siberia it's naturally cold there because it doesn't show that below average, but it does show some waves of colder air there too. So be aware. The European 0C does show those below average are in Western Asia and China and Russia. This goes the December 9th or around the 5th gets so cold there in Russia. Then it goes there into Siberia like December 11th, that below average in Siberia, much of Central Western Asia, and dives back into China December 15th. But yeah, this forecast changes like a lot, so it might change those like below average and above average temperatures, but be aware, it changes a lot. But the wind, let's see. I won't take too long showing this because it's already kind of late here, but let's take a look the potential for some gusty winds. So now there might be some gusty winds near China and like not near the seas in North Korea and Japan. So especially in Tibet, shows some very high winds in Tibet. Be aware the high mountains. I see there are some towns there. This goes and some mountains of the central peninsula of Russia there. In eastern Russia, this goes Monday, and then Tuesday shows some gusty winds in Tibet again, close to 80 km per gust, or even higher. Still gusty around Japan and like China and eastern Russia there shows some waves of gusty winds in Japan, close like 63, even like some 78 km per gust, especially in the mountains. This goes. Some Arctic regions have some low pressure systems. There are some gusty winds too. This goes here. Like Wednesday shows still in Tibet, very strong. Some spots of the Pacific in Japan and Russia, especially like December 6th in Japan shows very gusty in the ocean. There might be some marine warnings there. Southeasternmost Russia, so shows some higher gusts too, close to 8 or more km per gust late on Friday and more across some parts of eastern Russia. Even in Japan there Friday this goes. That doesn't show much on land, but does show some gusty winds central northern Japan as well. So this goes mainly southeastern Russia and in Tibet shows like northern Nepal too, but some mountain regions shows all the way to 110 km per gust in Tibet by the European model, more like in the northern Nepal, some higher gusts as well. So be careful in those areas. Even showing like December 7th, southern Pakistan, some higher gusts, and Iran. And before that, it's showing relatively calm is in Western Asia in terms of wind, but there always might be some part, so some days a little bit gustier, like in Russia, shows some waves of gusty winds that December 5th, and later, especially some mountains there shows a line of gusty winds. So be careful. This goes and showing more gusty winds like most of southern China, in Tibet and northern Nepal. Be aware northernmost Nepal shows some very high winds in the Himalayas, and like even shows a little bit gusty in the ocean near Taiwan and those areas December 9th. So be aware, some other models might have some different forecasts, and this changes all the time. So be aware, it might not happen exactly like I'm showing here because it changes a lot. But it does show like Russia, the GFS on Tuesday, some higher gusts into central, northern Russia there on Wednesday. This goes and shows there like in Tibet, the GFS is also showing like those central mountains there, more than like 108 km per gust. So very strong there too. Be careful if you are there. So this goes in Japan Friday and Saturday, shows some higher gusts, some central northern parts of Japan. So be careful there too. This goes more like southern Pakistan, Afghanistan, December 7th, and yeah, and even later. So be aware in those areas and like stay safe. Just the rainfall now for northern parts of Asia, it's mostly snow there, but there'll be some rain spots like central China and Taiwan. Does show like some 27 millimeters. Some rain in eastern northeastern Taiwan. In Japan, there'll be a lot of snow in the mountains, but does show rain, especially on the coast. More rain, so like 77 millimeters for 49. This in Russia is mainly snow, and also but shows some rain near the Caspian Sea in Azerbaijan until Friday. It might be some drops of rain in Russia. Because it mainly snow there, but there might be some rain too. The European does show some rain in the southern islands of Japan. Might be a storm or two, but mainly some rain. Northeastern Taiwan there. And yeah, into China, those showers, central into eastern China there. And some more spots of Japan. So be careful in those areas and like stay safe. If you have questions about specific area, feel free to ask in the comments and check some links in the description for some warnings and weather forecasts.